It was March 22nd, 2024. Acclaimed hip-hop producer Metro Boomin dropped a collab album with Future titled We Don't Trust You. Many of you requested that I share my thoughts on it via its own video, but I didn't because I didn't feel like I had anything interesting to add to the conversation. Why? Because I only had 2 short takes on this album. The first of which is, this is just another Future album. Expect 808s and heartbreaks from a toxic 40-year-old suffering from Peter Pan complex.
Damn, son.
As long as you're cool with that, I'm sure you'll find some enjoyment out of it, but this album mostly did nothing for me because I've heard it before in the past and it was better. Honestly, I don't think anyone would be talking about this project if it wasn't for my second talking point. My second take on We Don't Trust You is, although I wasn't impressed with the project as a whole, I will say it did make rap music fun again. And the crazy part is that it had nothing to do with Future. Track 6 on that album is called Like That, and on it, Metro Boomin delivers, and Kendrick Lamar delivers even more. That song contains arguably the best verse of 2024 so far, and it set the internet ablaze. Just in case you've been living under a Dwayne Johnson and you need an explanation as to why, Kendrick hopped on that track and he started talking straight greasy. This TikTok from Dissect Podcast does a better job of explaining things than I ever could.
Here's 4 brilliant details you might have missed in Kendrick Lamar's Like That verse.
These niggas talking out of their neck. Don't put no coffin out of your mouth. I'm way too paranoid for a threat.
Like most of Kendrick's verse, this opening line addresses Drake and J.Cole's first-person shooter, where the two take turns boasting about being the GOATs, which Kendrick took personally. Kendrick's opening bar warns them to watch their mouths, with the word coffin likely alluding to J.Cole's opening bar on first-person shooter, returning your song to a funeral. But also notice how coffin is a homophone for coughing, which relates to the neck and mouth, and plays on the idea that someone coughing threatens to get you sick.
DOT, the money, power, respect. The last one is better. Say yes, a lot of goofies with a check.
This is a play on both checks as in money and blue verification checks on social media, with the underlying message being that there's a lot of dummies with money and or online clout, but both don't mean anything if you're not respected like Kendrick is. But Goofies with a check is also a Drake diss, with Goofy being a cartoon dog, a play on For All My Dogs, and a check being the logo for Nike, who Drake collabs with. Kendrick is calling Drake Goofy, a non-threatening dog that's popular but not feared.
Niggas clicking up, but turn not be legit, no 40 water, tell them.
Here Kendrick undermines the authenticity of Cole and Drake's partnership, with wordplay on the cousins Be Legit and E40 aka 40 Water, who are in a group called The Click. But Kendrick is also nodding to the beat he's rhyming over, which uses the same sample source as E40's song Look At Me.
Sound system on, blue, black, buffing on the doobie, almost grubbed, nigga, boom.
For all your dogs getting buried, that's a K with all these nines. You gon' see Pet Cemetery, nigga.
In these final lines, we get a direct reference to Drake's For All My Dogs, with Kendrick claiming to bury those dogs like Stephen King's horror novel Pet Sematary. But this line is a triple entendre. First, K is for Kendrick, a 10, surrounded by 9s, Drake and Cole. Second, K is AK, surrounded by the much smaller 9mm. Finally, K plus 9 makes K9, tying a bow on the dog motif. But also notice how getting buried and cemetery in these final lines call all the way back to Kendrick's opening lines, don't pull no coffin out your mouth. A full circle moment to end this incredible verse.
Now, the reason I shared that video is because I am a huge fan of hip hop, and I think that person did a great job of breaking down the layers that can be found in that verse, which in turn hopefully helps you appreciate Kendrick even more. Because sadly, despite all of them layers, I think most of you just heard,
motherfuck the big 3, nigga, it's just big me.
Now, if you don't listen to rap like that, know the big 3 is a term rap fans use to describe Kendrick Lamar, J. Cole, and Drake. It's basically hip hop's version of the anime big 3. It first became popular in the 2010s because these 3 essentially came out around the same time and were the clear pack leaders amongst other talented 2010 artists such as Wale, Big Sean, Nipsey Hussle, and Freddie Gibbs. They're basically rap Cerberus from Greek mythology. But back to the Like That verse. This move from Kendrick was great because nobody saw it coming, but also because he chose to do this on Metro's album instead of his own. Having Metro and Future on the album almost guaranteed improved visibility. Obviously, Kendrick is a great artist. I mean, I'm a fan myself, but I'm also aware that he tends to mainly, not always, but mainly appeal to people who be like, fuck Drake, real hip hop. I'm a spiritual, lyrical individual. By dropping that verse off on a mainstream song, it gives it more crossover appeal, which is 100% a chess move by Kendrick in my opinion. The easiest way to get social media talking is to place your diss inside of a song geared towards people looking for their next Instagram caption. Kendrick fired his artillery, and clearly the shot landed because since the release of this song, all-out civil war has broken out in hip-hop, with people even photoshopping artists taking sides like it's the MCU. Apparently Metro and Future have beef with Drake as well over a girl, but nobody cares about that. So instead, let me know in the comments below if you're Team Kendrick or Team Drake. Now, the other thing that's happened is my entire timeline is demanding that J. Cole and Drake respond to Kendrick. Since this verse dropped, J. Cole responded, sort of. But before I share my thoughts on that, instead, let's recap what Wheelchair Jimmy has done since the Like That verse has dropped. Here's everything Drake has done since Like That is dropped, and there might be more stuff by the time this video dropped. He's tweeted some more. Over 9,000 Instagram captions. He posted this whiteboard with a message. Feel free to pause the video if you want to read it. Random monologues while he's on tour. Participated in a skit with comedian Benny the Don. Posted over 9,000 IG stories. Failed to share J. Cole's new album. Comment under random posts. DM a baddie. Your body is absolute tea. Post pics of a trophy next to a pen and a pad, where the trophy just so happens to look identical to the NBA Champions trophy Kobe famously held while he was crying, which makes me think this is a subliminal shot at Kendrick and a reference to when he said on Stories About My Brother, taking off the sneakers cause you're tired of tying them up. The one day you wake up and tell them enough is enough. That's how you're gonna find out you're not Kobe Bryant to us, man. You're not Kobe Bryant to us at all. And last but not least, my favorite thing Aubrey Graham has done since Like That dropped is when he took metaphorical shots at a giant Travis Scott pinata during one of his concerts.
Come on, man, what the fuck is you doing, cuz?
I'm a Drake fan, but Drake is a great example of how inconsistent people are when it comes to their opinions. A lot of y'all are just sheep. When you're beloved by many, you're not held to the same standards as others. J. Cole dropped a project and people are dunking on him when in reality, the golden child Wheelchair Jimmy is in fact not keeping it rap. The double standards are crazy too, considering J. Cole washed Drake not once, but twice on Drake's For All the Dogs album. Yet Drake can get away with not rapping back at Kendrick and being Twitter fingers like Meek Mill. It's hypocritical. It's almost like he only picks fights he knows he can win, because what happened to this guy?
I waited 4 days, nigga, where y'all at?
And I don't want to hear from Drake fans talking about, oh, it's not fair. Drake's on tour, so he wasn't prepared. Also, he was supposed to take a break after the tour. You don't think Kendrick knows that? Like That's timing was on purpose. He knows Drake is on tour and trying to take a break afterwards. This forces Drake's hand. I mean, you said you was the best, right? F all them Instagram captions, get your tail in the booth and prove it. If he doesn't respond, it makes Drake look like one of them boxers who ducks the best competition after winning the belt. It puts a stain on your career. That is a chess move from Kendrick and a great example of the art of war. But let's dial it back and talk J. Cole. He actually did what's expected of a rapper, and that's rap back at Kendrick, even though the main shots Kendrick threw really weren't for Cole. He recently stealth dropped a project to all streaming platforms called Might Delete This Later. It's 12 songs deep and it has a 43-minute runtime. It sports features from the likes of Aria Lennox, Cameron, Boss, Central C, Absol, and more. And track 12 is titled 7-Minute Drill, and that's the one everyone's talking about. First, I'll address that and then I'll discuss the project as a whole. The reason everyone's talking about 7-Minute Drill is because it has some bars on there for Kendrick, and on the record, Cole says, I came up in the Ville, so I'm good when it's tension. He's still doing shows but fell off like The Simpsons. Your first shit was classic, but your last shit was tragic. Your second shit put ninjas to sleep, but they still gassed it. Your third shit was massive, and that was your prime. I was trailing right behind, and now I just hit mine. Now I'm front of the line with a comfortable lead. How ironic, soon as I get it, now he wants something with me. Well, he caught me at the perfect time, just jump up and see. Now I wouldn't call this a full-blown diss. Some would say it's a light jab or warning shots. Matter of fact, he literally says it's warning shots later in the song. But that being said, this jab was very light. I don't care even if it was a warning shot instead of going all out. It's more so the angle that he took that I don't like. He's basically decided to go album for album or band for band, and as a Cole fan, I have to say, I think Kendrick's discography is a bit stronger. Forest Hills Drive is the only real classic album he has in my opinion. Some might argue Born Center too, but I just thought it was good like the rest of his albums. I think Good Kid, Mad City, To Pimp a Butterfly, and Damn are classics, so the whole band for band angle isn't the best take for J. Cole. I think if things really pop off into a full-blown battle, he's gonna have to take the whole flexing his metaphor, simile, and double entendre angle. Like literally just be the better rapper when it comes to this battle. But even if he swung and missed, I have to say I still give J. Cole respect because at least he tried, unlike Aubrey. So since Aubrey don't want to rap back, let's pivot to talking about the project as a whole. What got lost in translation due to Cole's weak jab is that Might Delete Later is another solid project from J. Cole. I listened all the way through several times and I have never skipped a track. It's crazy too because this project feels feels like a throwaway. He's just having fun with it, which makes me excited for whenever he drops the fall off. I don't think he's lying when he says he feels like he's in his prime. I think the production on this album is a nice mix between the modern 808 style and some of that early 2000s Kanye sample style. A perfect example of this is track 3 titled Ready 24. It's literally a flip on the Diplomat's I'm Ready song, which samples Barbara Mason's Yes I'm Ready. Hence why Cameron is a feature on the song. It's paying homage for those of you not aware. This one bangs in the whip and the gym, further confusing me when people say Cole's music is great for when you're just trying to fall asleep. The only thing I didn't like about this song is Cameron's vocals. His verse is fine, it's just you can tell they didn't record this in the same studio because Cam's vocals sound muddy compared to Cole's. Either way, it's nice to see Cam stop talking about sports for a moment and get back in the booth and start rapping, because Lord knows he needed a win after what happened to him during peak COVID hours.
New York, the real New York. I'm outside. I don't live in Miami. I don't live in Colorado. Come to my block and see me, my niggas. All of y'all know I'll be down there. This is Kiss. I'm outside.
One track that did surprise me is track 5 titled HYB. It features Boss and Central C. This one was a pleasant surprise because although I like Central C, he hasn't done much outside of his comfort zone. He came out of that whole UK drill scene and he occasionally mixes it up with tracks like Sprinter and Doja, but for the most part, he tends to stick to his lane. He came in on that third verse of HYB and he showed up and he mixed well with Cole and Boss, so kudos to him. Daylight surprised me on track 8 as well. It's titled Pie and he proved he's more than just a battle rapper, a genre infamous for its stars getting stuck in that box. Overall, I'd rate this project a solid 7.5. I thought the production and the bars were cool for the most part. My only real knock is it doesn't feel like a cohesive project, but instead a group of solid throwaways. Also, that Kendrick response was weak, but don't let the discourse on 7-minute drills sway you away from giving this project a listen. If you're short for time, I'd recommend giving a listen to Pricey, Ready 24, HYB, Pie, Stealth Mode, and Trey the Truth to get yourself started. Now, as for Wheelchair Jimmy, I hope you can find some time in your busy schedule of posting IG captions and DMing baddies to get back in the booth and rap back at the people you claim to be better than. Hip hop has been boring for some time, and it's nice to see some people compete lyrically, because I just want to remind everybody, this is not real beef. What's really going on is just lyrical exercise. I've seen some wild takes on social media, and I don't think any of these brothers have real beef, so it's no need to be so emotionally invested, because at the end of the day, it's just folks reciting poetry in a rhythmic manner over 808s and soul samples. Literally 30 minutes after I finished the original script for this video, and I was getting ready to record it, something astronomical happened that forced me to pivot from my original plan. Originally, I was gonna plan this video with a joke inquiring whether or not if lyrical warfare would break out between Cole, Kendrick, and Drake, but then this happened.
I don't know if y'all can feel that, but the world wanna see blood. So I say all of that to say, in my spirit of trying to like get this music out, I ain't gonna lie to y'all. I moved in a way that I feel spiritually feel bad on me. Like I try to like jab my nigga back and I try to keep it friendly. But at the end of the day, when I listen to it and when it comes out and I see the talk, that shit don't sit right with my spirit. That shit make me feel, that shit disrupts my fucking peace. So what I want to say right here tonight is in the midst of me doing that and in that shit, trying to find a little angle and downplay this nigga's fucking catalog and his greatness, I want to say right now tonight, how many people think Kendrick Lamar is one of the greatest motherfuckers to ever touch a fucking microphone? Dreamville, y'all love Kendrick Lamar, correct? As do I. So I just want to come up here and be like, publicly be like, bruh, that was the lamest, like, goofiest shit. And I say all that to say, it made me feel like 10 years ago when I was moving incorrectly.
So yeah, I don't have a joke now. All I can say is that it's disappointing to see Cole bow out like this. It's nothing wrong with a little friendly competition because truthfully, this ain't real beef and it would have made hip hop exciting. That was actually going to be the original title of this video. Something along the lines of Kendrick and Cole made rap fun again, but I guess not. So instead, allow me to divert your attention towards music's #1 rising R&B star, 4Bats. Many say he's an industry plant, and if you click the card on the screen, it'll take you to my video explaining why. But hey, I'm just saying.